America First has a lot of different things in it. And it's not what you think it is. It's not just Donald Trump's movement. It's not Trumpism. We've pretty much left Trumpism. Trump is gone. He's not put America first anymore. And we need a guy that will actually put America first. And so, therefore, there's a lot of different things to be America first. If you want some recommends, I would recommend reading anything that Pat Buchanan writes or any paleo-conservative thinker. This is where we're getting our America First ideology from. Also watch the Nick F. Show or America First on Rumble. That's also another great way to get your information for America First. Let's start with immigration because this is the most important point that us America First conservatives believe in alt-righters. So pretty much what we believe on sovereignty and immigration is this. We've been getting wrecked. Ever since the 1965 Hart-Celler Act that LBJ signed, we've just been getting effed. It's just not been good for us. Everything that they promised has not happened, and anything the worst has happened. Let's just get into the problems of the globalist immigration policy. Globalists have said we need to take in everybody in mass immigration because it'll help the GDP, it'll help the economy. But us, America First conservatives, paleo conservatives, whatever you want to call it, don't believe that. We believe that we have a group of people in America. America is not just an idea. Everyone says America is an idea. I believe America is a group of people. And we need to maintain that group of people. So, here's the thing. America was a predominantly white nation for all of its history. And you're telling me, ever since the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, we became the most diversified country in the world. Not in the world, but in our history. Our big cities, LA, Chicago, Austin, New York City, all are diverse. They were 90, 80, 70% white in the 1950s. Yeah, I think most of them are actually like 80 to 90% white. And we had a culture in America. We had etiquette. We had like a union, like a united standpoint in America when we were majority white. I mean, people would get dressed up in the way I got dressed up to go and you go out to eat, and people would be respectful to each other. People didn't like demonize women. There was like prostitution was at lows, and people respect women's bodies, and there was just a moral goodness in our culture at that time. And ever since then, we have not had that. I mean, people go to a restaurant in shorts and a t-shirt. A fancy restaurant too. People don't get dressed up anymore. There's no culture anymore. People don't speak proper English. Our kids, I'm actually a great example of it. People don't know how to read. People don't know how to write. We're the most dumb generation, and we're the biggest effects of this Hart-Celler Act. And so, as America First, we believe that we had a culture, and we want to bring back that culture that we had, which was good. I mean, we had respect for each other. I mean, when you're in a suit and tie, you're less likely to commit a crime. And even then, the gangs weren't as bad. And the crime was way lower until the 1960s and 70s and even the 80s and 90s. Really, since 1999, crime has been dropping a little bit. But ever since mass deportations, which Trump hasn't been doing mass deportations, but ever since the little bit of deportations he's actually done, crime has went down. And I would also say, ever since we've took it in the whole third world pretty much. We've taken in 5% of some countries. It's crazy. We've had crime spikes in our cities. And our cities are not clean, our cities smell like marijuana. Our cities are not good. And so what we believe is that we are a sovereign country. We are a country that has interests. We have a country that has a culture. We have a country that has a shared group of people. And we need to preserve that group of people. And so sovereignty plays there. We also have borders. I mean, borders also matter too. Borders are not just made up lines. Borders are lines between a different group of people. People say, well, borders are just imaginary things, and even animals don't have borders. Well, animals do have borders. Even hunter-gatherers have borders. When we went back to the most ancient of human times, we had borders. If another tribe came on our land, we would fight back. We always believed in borders. Borders is not a new concept. It's not just imaginary lines. This is a different set of group of people with a different set of interests in that nation. It represents a whole nation. Borders are not just imaginary. It's like the DSA says we should eliminate all borders. Well, that's stupid because borders are biological. I mean, again, we're not the only animal that has borders. Even if you want to go into like history. I mean, the greatest mirror into, not the greatest mirror, but the greatest. If you look into these uncontacted tribes in like the Amazon rainforest and Sentinelese, they have borders too, and they are still living like prehistoric lives. I mean, dude, they're still living ancient human lives, and they believe in borders. This is not just a made up thing. This is not just a thing that we just made up just because we're greedy human beings. No, this is a biological thing that we want to protect. And I don't think it's crazy to say that we want to protect our borders. The thing that we have against mass immigration as America First conservatives is that we believe that we want to put our workers first. Imagine you're a college student and you're coming out of, whatever college you went to, and you're in tech, and we take in mass amounts of H-1Bs in this country. Now imagine this. Your job is stolen from a high-skilled Indian worker who is not supposed to be in the country, but a greedy corporation was allowed to bring him into this country. So now that American who was born here is screwed out of a job. And that's why another reason is that a lot of people come out of college and they're underworked. They're not working jobs because corporations can go across and get them from India or Asia, and that's a big problem for our country. Another thing is, ever since the 1965 Immigration Act, or Hart-Celler, pretty much what's happened, and this is a catastrophe, is that wages have not met up with productivity. Ever since the 1970s. Now, a lot of liberals say we need to raise minimum wage, which I say that's a horrible idea. It's, first of all, federal minimum wage is already unconstitutional in my opinion. But that's besides the point. It's not, raising the minimum wage is not doing anything. What we have to do is cut immigration for the next 10, 15, 20 years so we can reset. And that will hurt the economy. But we've had this 40-year problem where wages have just not met productivity. Workers are more productive than ever, but we're also not the most well as paid that we should be. We're not as well paid as we should, and that's because our economy needs a correction. As Hayek said, that Frederick Hayek said it in his book. I forgot. I think it was Rose de Turbo, but I might be wrong. He says that a recession is just a correction to the economy. This is a correction that we need. We cannot just keep taking immigrants and say, well, we're just gonna raise the minimum wage. That will just hurt business. We need to make businesses pay American workers, and American workers need to get paid more. And when American workers get paid more, a lot more benefits happen. And that's why we're protecting our workers, because mass immigration also just depresses wages. Imagine you're a big corporation owner and you're trying to hire workers. Well, if there's 100 different workers in this one area, and another area that is just as much needed, there's only 3 workers. Well, those 3 workers have a higher chance of getting paid more compared to the 100, because even though they have the same amount of demand, there's a lot more supply for the 100 workers, and the wages get suppressed. And we've seen that, again, productivity versus wages. We've seen it pretty much, and wages are not meeting, and that's the problem. We need to close the borders, get our wages back up to put America first. So most plans you can hear, we have Pat Buchanan, Nick Fuentes, we have many different guys from the America First scheme. I would say we should close the border for the next 10 to 15 years to protect obviously our demographics. It would only make our white population go up to 60%, but that's pretty good. Another thing we can do is obviously we have a culture, we need to make the economy good, and that will increase birth rates, but that's besides the point. We think that we need to close the border for the next 10, 15 years, deport every single legal immigrant, because we have borders, we have a sovereignty, and these people are not supposed to be here. You can't just break into someone's country and expect to get all the benefits. You can't just break into someone's country. This is our country. We have a set group of people, and you're not supposed to be here. Okay, we're not going to be feeding into this replacement anymore. We're going to kick you out. We're going to kick all of them out. I don't care if there's a recession for 2 to 3 years. It's a correction in the economy that needs to happen. So big corporations cannot just, especially agriculture and construction, they cannot just pay these guys off the books. And these American workers can get their jobs and get paid more. Now let's talk about economics. So we have an economic philosophy, economic nationalism. Again, if you want to go into learning more, you can watch Nick Fuentes' debate against Dean on tariffs, or you can watch any of his debates on tariffs. He has a couple of them, not much. You can also watch Pat Buchanan, or you can read, again, The Death of the West, or anything by Pat Buchanan on tariffs. Pretty good. So yeah, as I said, we believe in tariffs. And so pretty much America went into this free trade scheme in the 1980s under Ronald Reagan. And we were so pro-free trade. We had Milton Friedman's dream. Right? Milton Friedman's dream cut federal programs, which I'm okay with in some aspects. But also, we have cut taxes ginormously, and especially in the one area where there's supposed to be a lot of taxes is tariffs and imports. We took away pretty much almost all of our tariffs until like 2017 on Donald Trump, which I give him credit for. He's used tariffs in a good way, but one thing we've done is America. We have not used tariffs. We've used pretty much anything else besides tariffs to try to bring manufacturing back. Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. That lost around, I think it was 3.5 million jobs that went overseas. Because imagine this. You are a business, and your country is, you have high regulations, and you can't just do whatever you want with your workers. Now, you can go to China or NAFTA, you can go to Mexico or any of these other countries that have less regulations and the workers are paid less compared to America, where it might cost you $25 per worker. Here in Mexico, it might cost you $15 or $10. You will go there because profit is larger. A business, the whole point of a business is to make profit. And I can't blame the businesses. The businesses are doing their job. Their job is to make profit. But what America has done is that we've let them go across the seas. We've let them. And there's no other reason why we've done this, or no other reason why we've lost this manufacturing is because we decide to stop putting tariffs on countries. We signed all these free trade agreements, and businesses will just go elsewhere. Especially these third world, second world countries, they will go there. So China's seen it. The best example, I think it was the U.S.-China agreement in 2000, and that started pretty much. I think it lost like 5 million jobs within like 8 years, which we compared to China. And then COVID that year, let alone, we lost 3 million jobs. And ever since 2000, we've lost, I think it was like 11 million manufacturing jobs. So it's pretty bad. We can't keep doing this. We cannot keep letting businesses go across and losing American workers. I mean, 11 million people were put out of jobs. Think about that. That's horrible. There's no benefit to this. I can't see like any other reason. I don't care about the GDP. The free trade, the only thing that like is good about free trade is that the GDP goes up. That's the only thing. You can say tariffs raise prices. I would say it's worth it to bring back domestic manufacturing. I don't care that prices go up. Prices will go up, but again, the economy needs a correction, and it'll correct. The markets will always reset itself, and so we'll need to put tariffs on for a little bit to bring this manufacturing back, because if you raise tariffs high enough where businesses make equal amount of profits with America or here, even if you raise tariffs even more, either they raise prices or they bring back manufacturing, where it's easier just to bring back manufacturing. Right? It's easier. I mean, Trump has seen billions of dollars of investment. He saw modest growth before he took away the Liberation Day tariffs. Tariffs will bring back manufacturing, and it also just puts the American worker first. I wrote a whole article on Substack. I will put it in the bio on why tariffs are good, so I don't have to spend another 8 minutes talking about tariffs. But it's pretty good. We need to protect American manufacturing. We need to protect American industry, as Alexander Hamilton said in the Report of Manufacturers. We need to protect our industry from the big British, and well, the British right now are China, because China is the biggest manufacturing industry, or the biggest industry in the world right now. So we need to do that. That's another thing being part of America first. Now let's go with foreign policy. This is my next thing I want to talk about. Foreign policy is a big thing, and this is actually the biggest thing I think in America first, besides immigration. If you ever listen to Nick Fuentes, I hope I don't get taken down for that, but if you listen to him, you'll either hear him talk about a lot of foreign policy and a lot of immigration. These two issues matter a lot. So let's talk about what's our foreign policy. So again, read anything about Pat Buchanan, watch him, learn from him. He's great. I love watching Pat Buchanan. I'm not even like 1% into him, but he's pretty good. Pat Buchanan ran on a very unpopular thing at the time in the Republican Party, and still kind of is. And then until like Trump in 2017, no intervention, non-interventionist in foreign policy. That's the thing. Neocons are trying to spread democracy around the world and brought us into endless wars and pretty much killed the Republican Party. We would have almost had Jeb Bush as our candidate, who have just went to war for Israel. We don't do that. We are anti-neocon. Okay, we are the complete opposite of neocon. We decide to put America first. We don't go to war for other countries. We don't go to war for Israel. We don't go for war for any other countries, because that kills American workers. Not American workers. Well, actually, it does kill Americans. It kills American military. It hurts our military. It costs a lot of money. It doesn't help the American worker. Now, there is obviously times that you need to go to war. I'm not a pacifist. Okay, I'm not a pacifist. As a Catholic, I believe there's in the just war theory by St. Augustine. But in some instances, it's okay to go to war. But the Iran war was not a good instance, okay, by Trump. There's no good instance in the last, 20 years of us going to war. We've been over, whatever amount of wars we went to, pretty much. The only thing I could really see was bombing. Nigeria was good. I think Venezuela was good. But we have a non-interventionist ideology. We decide that, we've just getting wrecked by wars. We went to all these endless wars. We need to decide to we have bigger problems here at home. In domestic, especially. The domestic policy matters more right now. We need to put tariffs on foreign goods. We need to cut immigration, because the war, what's happening in Iran does not affect me. It does not. What's happening in Kuwait does not affect me. What happens in South Africa does not affect me. Right? But, and actually no way will it benefit me if America goes and takes it over. But Venezuela was good because we can use Venezuela. Venezuela is on our hemisphere. It would be good. But, going to our war in Iran was not good, because there's no reason for us to go to war in Iran. That's Israel's problem. But Israel's dragging us into all these wars. So, as America First, we see that we need to just set our foreign policy on just war doctrine is actually the best foreign policy way to look at this. I would recommend looking into Augustine on that. Foreign policy, we need to look at just war theory and look, does it benefit the American person? The average middle class American person, does it benefit them or does it hurt them? Does the Iran war benefit or hurt the Americans? Well, it didn't help them. It did not help them. Indirectly, it led to gas prices going up. Indirectly, not indirectly, it led to 12 Americans, 13 Americans dying. They're losing their life for a stupid war that we didn't even get anything out of. Alright, so it doesn't make any sense to me. Iraq did not benefit us. Did not. Afghanistan. They used the justification. We all know who did it, but they used the justification to go to and spend a 20-year war in Afghanistan. Now, Afghanistan is, I'm in a gray area there. I don't know if we should went to war or not. Maybe we should just bomb them a little bit. I don't know. But we definitely spent 20 years too long in there. Okay. Too long. Now, working on Cuba, working on Venezuela is great. I can see there's great things about that, but again, going to war in Iran doesn't benefit the average American compared to Cuba, Venezuela, or El Salvador, or Mexico. If these places are clean, safe, and welcome to visitors, one, that actually helps our economy a lot. It lowers gas prices for America. Also, it keeps us less dependent on our horrible allies across the sea from Europe. And so, yes, I think if we could have a North American, that's really heavily influenced by America, I think that'd be beneficial to the average American person. So, yeah, that's our foreign policy. Now, how do we win? How do we get America First candidates out of into the GOP? Because what we have in the GOP is absolutely horrible. We can't keep doing this at all. So, what do we do? What do we do? So first, we need to get this GOP out. This GOP is horrible. It's trash. Everything sucks about it. Everything. The GOP has only put Israel first. I just want to hear, just listen to the failure of the GOP. They had everything, okay? All the popularity. They're the first Republican candidate since Bush to win the popular vote. So it's pretty good. This was actually pretty popular for us. Trump was popular, everything. Now Trump's approval rating is at 30%. Not good. And the GOP is putting Israel first. They're still it's all Zionists when Israel's I think amongst conservatives, I think only like 40% support them now. So they're not putting America first. We have to get the GOP out. That's step number one. If you're America first, if you're part of America First movement, you cannot vote for anybody in the GOP, unless it's like some guy that you really see that's core to these ideologies. Get them out. If they support the war in Iran, if they're aligned with Trump, do not vote for them. Because if we just keep voting for them, we're going to be okay with this mediocrity. We're not okay with the mediocrity. We want the best. We want the best. You see the Democratic Party, the DSA, they're okay with this. They're not okay with mediocrity. They want a far left regime. They want far left. They will vote out. They are pit bulls. They will vote you out if they don't think you're far left enough. We need to do the exact same thing. Okay? Get these guys out of here. Primary these guys out. I want all of them gone. All of them have to be gone. Right? Even Brandon Gills, who's a strong supporter of Israel. Everyone's all popular about him. Strong supporter of Israel, loyal to Trump. Get these guys all out of here. They've completely destroyed the GOP. They've made the Republican Party more unpopular than ever. It's horrible. We need to get these guys out of here. So step one is just get the Trump out of the equation. Step number two, I would say, is we gotta use the DSA formula. So the DSA is getting really popular. The Democratic Socialist Party, it's really popular, and that's a problem. It's scary. Obviously, these guys don't want police. They don't want federal prisons. So they want to go far left. We're gonna go far right. We're gonna give them a taste of their own medicine because we're actually good. Okay, we're over here. We want America first. These people are illogical. So guess what? We gotta start winning local elections first. Alright, so these deep red areas, we need to win. So we need to win Kentucky, Arizona, and not Arizona. Arizona's not that deep red. But like Wyoming, Montana, like we have to win these areas first. If we can win Florida with James Fishback, I mean, that's huge for us. We win those first. Then we start going up. We start climbing up until the point where we're pretty popular. And then we start winning primaries and we start doing this and that. But it all starts local. We have to start small. You can't just go and want to win the presidency. You can't do that. The likelihood of ever getting a good American First movement that's permanent is rare just by winning the presidency. You need to start local and start branching up. Okay? And once you get high enough, you can eventually get the presidency. That's our goal. But the DSA is the greatest example. They're getting really popular right now. They started winning by local elections, and they won New York City. And now they're really popular. If we can start winning local elections, which you've seen a little bit here and there, if you can start winning local elections, and if we get James Fish back to win Florida, that's good. We can start building up from there. Then we have to start spreading the movement. Step number 3: start spreading the movement as much as popular. Nick said this. I want super chats. How do you spread the movement best? Edits and clips. Clip his show. Edit anything. We gotta spread the movement. We gotta spread America First movement to everybody, but especially the young people. The old geezers are moving. They're getting out. Okay. The old neocons. I just voted for Republicans because I think that the left is horrible, and I think that the left is, I think the right is way better than the left. I think the right's more. I think the right is do deportation. I think the right doesn't get bought up by Israel. We need to get those guys out because those guys are moving. They're going to go. Once we have our young generation, we can win presidencies. We can win primaries. We can do everything. So we need to reach a younger audience. And I think that's what James Fishback is doing amazing. He's reaching a younger audience, and he's gonna win the youth vote by a lot. Also, Thomas Massey is a great example. He won the youth vote by like 30 points. Okay, so the youth is already in a good spot with America First. Alright, but also debates, right? We got to debate against these leftists. We got to debate against guys like Steven Crowder, too, who's a right winger. We have to debate against like these MAGA guys. Alright, we have to debate against those MAGA guys, Daily Wire. We have to debate against. We have to debate against the leftists. Hassan Piker. We have to debate against Dean Withers. Make a fool out of them. Okay, because these guys are anti-America pretty much. We are like what America First is, and we're the most patriotic group out of all of them. So we need to debate them. We have to pretty much discredit these guys, because again, politics is a vicious game. We need to be vicious because they're vicious with us. You can see with the DSA, they're completely vicious with us. We need to do the same thing back to them. So we have to get the movement out there. And again, eventually, with all this pairing up, we will have a bigger America First movement, and therefore, we have a big America First movement that's actually influencing policy. And one thing we can never forget, we cannot take Nick out of this. Nick started this, pretty much. Nick and Pat. I mean, I hope we do this quick enough so Pat can see this. Right? I just hope, because I want to see Pat, I want Pat to see this. He started this. But also Nick. We need to keep those guys in there, because these guys deserve all the credit. And that's how we get this movement to win. We need to do this. We need to vote your America First candidate in elections. If your candidate is a Republican and he's not meeting this criteria, do not vote for him. Vote for a third party. Write in somebody. Do anything. Just even if you don't have to vote. I can see why people want to do that. They say that left is so bad. Well, we need to completely and utterly demoralize these people. We need to make that's the only way we can get this GOP out. If we keep voting for them, we're okay with mediocrity. And I'm not okay with mediocrity. I'm not going to stand there and say, well, it's better than the Democrat. I'm not doing that anymore. And I don't think the Republicans should not be doing this anymore. After what Trump has done in these 2 years, we should not take this anymore. We should be putting America first. And so that's the way to win. Thank you for watching. And I'm Dylan Osso. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. God bless.